podcast with Tanya and Claire.
Hi everyone! Hello!
Tanya's just fallen through a chair.
Say that I'm too large for Claire's chairs. I literally have my arse has just fallen through a chair, which is ridiculous.
Well, you'd moved from one chair to the other, and that was creaking, and that was creaking. The table's creaking.
And I said, I said, is it creaking because I'm fat? And then I fell through.
But the only reason she fell through the chair is because I was lazy and I haven't clipped the seats into the frames since I have had these chairs and table repainted. It's
been a while.
For a long time. And I have the reason they're not clipped in is because I intend on stapling the fabric underneath the cushions. Because look, it's all baggy. And I only did that because I had either had people round or I had visitors. And I thought I'll just quickly tidy it up before they come. And then I never ever got round to properly doing it. No. And it happens all the time. Like Connor's fallen through it before.
Yeah, Connor weighs a lot less than me though.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, I don't know. I don't think it means anything. It's just a case of
this is going to play on my head now for like the next week. Every time I go to eat sweets, I'm going to be like, I felt.
No, it's not. It's not. It's because it was sitting. It wasn't lined up properly. It happens to us all the time. I just need to fix them.
Please fix them before I come round again. Or I just pretend that you fixed them and that it's just because I've lost so much weight in the next week. No, I don't fall through the chairs anymore.
Oh,
that'd be nice.
My kids are really irritated me just now.
Oh.
Yeah, they're really getting under my skin. I don't know. They just need to look at me and I'm like, oh, go away.
Oh.
I don't know why. I don't know. I think it's because they're getting a bit older, they're getting a bit ballsy and they want to involve themselves in the conversation.
What I think sometimes is what you're working with kids. So you're with kids all day and then you've got to deal with your own. It's not fun.
Maybe that's what it is.
I think it is. There's too many. You can't have kids around all the time. But I don't see them really.
Well, I think I was complaining last week that I didn't see Aidan much because he's been. Was I complaining last week? I was complaining to somebody about not seeing Aidan very much and that he'd hold himself away upstairs and on his phone all the time. And I was I'd banned him. Yeah, I had because it was on the Thursday or Friday. Anyway, besides the point. Me and my kids are really fucking getting under my skin. But it's fine because I've got my brother coming tomorrow and he'll diffuse the situation.
See, that's nice.
And he's actually coming. He's texted me to say I'm looking forward to coming down. I was like, yay! I haven't got the weekends mixed up again.
Yeah, seriously, not blowing me out for no good reason. No, that'd be really nice. When was the last time you saw him? When you was up the road?
Oh gosh, yeah, it would have been over a year ago.
Oh wow!
Fucking what?
Wow! No, you went in the summer.
Yeah, I only went to Derby. I went to my aunt's and Gregor wasn't there.
You've not been to Scotland this year?
No, I've not seen Gregor since last summer. Jesus.
Wow.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, he's your brother.
Oh, God.
Wow.
Sorry, Gregor.
Yeah.
I haven't seen my dad.
Get him loads of gin.
I've got loads of gin in. I haven't seen my dad in that amount of time either. Or Trev's mum.
Wow.
Or Hayley. No, I've not seen any of them since last.
I really thought you'd gone up this.
Only because I went up. I went up the road.
You went up the road.
But I didn't go all the way up the road.
Right, okay, so you went midway up the road.
Yeah, halfway up the road. 4 hours away.
Halfway. Yeah, see. No, yeah. And I suppose Trev's been, hasn't he?
Yeah.
My brain.
Yeah, that could be it actually, because he did go up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did go up in the summer.
Oh.
But I don't think we've got any hot news.
No, It's been
a busy work. Well, I've had a busy work week.
I have no brain sometimes, so I don't know what happens. I'm very vacant often. No, I have I've got a fun story.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, about so one of the lads we work with, and he's been listening to podcasts for ages. So I'm always saying Aidan. He's very cool. I do adore Aidan. He makes me laugh.
I seen Aidan this morning.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Yeah, we met up.
Oh,
a sneaky meet up in the car park.
Oh, all right. Hope Lauren's not listening to that. Wow. Oh, all right, Aidan. I thought I was your favourite. No, apparently not. Well, he is just like, he's an activist. Mm-hmm. He is. It's in him. Like, I can say anything, and he's like, yeah. And he posts stuff on Facebook all the time of and I'm like, well done, Aidan. Like, he is just cool.
Yeah.
And so he texted me the other day to say that he'd nearly punched someone in Zara. And Aidan's such a nice boy, man. Sorry. Nice man that he would never, like, he's not an aggressive man, but he said he was in the queue in Zara and there were two women at the front of the queue in hijabs and taking a long time to get their stuff, and the man behind him started fretting and cussing and then basically said, why don't they go back to their own country?
Fuck
so Aidan turned, he said, in his face with his finger and was like, you need to fucking shut up, basically. Just sort of had a go at him and said, you racist bastard. I was like,
excellent.
Oh, Aidan.
That's
he was
fab.
like, I really wanted to floor him, but I was like, well done, you. So that was his first.
That is amazing.
And it is. And do you know what I said to him? Because not everyone would have said anything.
No, exactly.
And that's what I'm always saying, non-racist versus anti-racist. Non-racist, you might be non-racist and have stood there and gone, that's disgusting, but I'm not going to say anything. But Aidan is full anti-racist, and so he told him.
And that is the difference, isn't it? Anti-racist, you're taking active steps towards improving the world. And it's great to be non-racist. It's great to be aware of the difference in people and not choosing to make that a reason to judge somebody, but to actively stand up to people who are being cunts.
And we have to, because if we don't, if we just sit by and watch injustice, then nothing changes. Yeah. So it is. So I was very proud of him then, and then he sent me a message today, and I was in a meeting. You know, when you try and look at somebody, you're like, I can't look. I'm in a meeting, and then so he'd so Megan, no, not Megan. I've got Megan on the brain. Not Megan. Kamala Harris, so Piers Morgan, because he's a twat, had put a post up basically just saying how he doesn't like Kamala Harris.
So he just trying to keep his name relevant on social media.
I think so. But so Aidan had tweeted Piers Morgan.
Nice.
And basically just said, maybe, just maybe, you don't like her because she's an American black woman. Just saying that Piers Morgan has retweeted.
No way.
Aidan. Yeah, just saying maybe I was the same with Hillary Clinton. And then you've got this little Twitter war happening now of people commenting, slagging Aidan off for saying, why do people have to bring race into it? And then other people going, yeah, but Aidan's right. And you know, it's like, you're famous. You're
my
famous.
God, he's trending.
It is. It's so cool.
Hashtag Aidan.
Oh, I know. It's so cool. I was like, go Aidan. Look at you taking on Piers Morgan. Come on.
Someone needs to.
Well, I did then comment and just say, to be fair, I think Aidan is right, and you have just shown yourself to not only be a racist, but also a misogynist.
Did you say it like that as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. When I read your words, that's how I hear your voice.
I was, you know, when I went, you know, when you go in, and I go all ranty, and then I was like, no. Step back.
Delete
back.
for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
delete.
I have done that many times, and there's been many times I should have done that, and I haven't. But I can't always be rational. No. Not often rational, but it's occasionally irrational in an argument. Yeah. And it's, But, so big up, Aidan. You are my star of the week.
Yeah. My son has just walked through the door and he's like, yes, me. Not you, Aidan.
Not you, Aidan. Big Aidan.
A different Aidan.
Big Aidan, not little Aidan. Yeah, he is my star of the week. So
that's very
cool. For just taking charge. Mm-hmm. It's very cool.
Did he say if the guy had any comeback to him? Go away with that noisy stuff. Thank you. I know I appreciate you buying me gifts, but not while I'm doing my podcast.
And don't put sweets near me because I'll inhale them.
That's your favourite ones as well. Fizzy
them. They are so good. I can smell them. Oh, God. Oh, it's bad.
Yeah, did the guy in the queue say anything?
No, I don't think he did.
Did you ask him?
I did ask him. I don't think he did say anything. I think he just said he was a bit flustered. Hold on, I'm checking my phone.
Because that's often my worry when... not necessarily a worry, but that's sometimes a thought that runs through my head after I've stood up to somebody. You know, regardless of what the argument is or what the discussion rather. Yeah, is what if they come back with something that's just a bit? Because I'm one of those people that walks away from an argument. I'm like, fuck's sake, I should have said that.
Just said that.
If I just said this and I just said that, I would have had them. And you know, it would be one of those kind of hair swishing moments. You're like walking away, and you're like. Yes! Yeah. And they're like, oh my God, They were so quick. I just didn't know. I didn't know what to say.
Isn't that not really happening?
No, it's never happened to me. But I always think it will do one day.
Yeah. So now I've got better. I was, and those that knew me when I was young, I was a bit more fisty than I was mouthy. That because my brain didn't work as quickly as my excuse. So I'd get flustered, so I'm just going to hit you, and then that's it. I'm not aggressive anymore. I don't hit people anymore. And I never started a fight ever in my life. I've never started a fight. But, yeah, whereas now, I'm pretty confident that I can flatten most people in an argument. So... yeah, I'm ready. But no, Aidan has said the man didn't say anything. And I think that is one of the key things, especially when people are racist or homophobic or saying something like that, especially in public. Because from how it sounds, this bloke probably didn't realise he was saying it that loudly or thinking anyone's going to hear. So then what are you going to say? Go on. So what are you going to say? I've just called you a racist pig. What are you going to say? No, I wasn't being racist. You just told them to go back to their own country. So, shall we have this conversation? More often than not, they'll just be like, really? You've called me out.
I'd like to think that at that point, that person's like, fuck yeah, shit, sorry, I will not say that again. Because at some point in people's lives, they have to change. Not everybody, but people. Like, I've read stories of white supremacists and what have you that have been there, like, in their activism role or whatever they deem that role to be, and fully believing in the belief system of that body that they're standing for. And then they've turned around. There's been an event. And I do believe that people are capable of change.
No, I do.
I did like to think that, that your words could have the power. And you just don't know, for some people, you just don't know. If somebody calls you out and you feel deeply embarrassed or you feel shame around people that you love, like if you're out shopping with like your wife or your children or your friends, and somebody challenges you on something that's really, really snide and deeply hurtful, would that make you think, shit?
I think that some people though would be defensive, like
they totally would
automatically go, but I'm not wrong because it's this and that. But you hope that at some point they do look and they do sit and think, oh, do you know what? Yeah, that was a liberty.
In the quiet moments of their if they're to themselves, when they get out for a shit in the middle of the night, they're like,
nice. Who shits in the middle of the night?
I don't know. People like that, shitheads. They've got so much shit in their bodies, they need to get it out.
It's got to come out in the middle of the night. Possibly.
I don't know, I pooed at 5 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, but you get up at 5 o'clock this morning, so that's your wake up poo. That's fine.
Yeah.
If you woke up at 2 to just go for a shit, that's just random. That feels really odd. Just going to wake up in the night, I'm going to go and have a shit. Go for a wee, number 1, not a number 2. No, it's very odd. Yeah. But no, I do think people change. That I think, if I look at even how much I've changed as I've grown up, my mind has expanded. I'm more aware of my surroundings and of my environment and of myself. And so you just think, you hope that... No, I'm sure, and I know I probably would have made derogatory comments about someone when I was younger, because you do. Your brain's not fully formed anyway, but you don't think about the consequences, I suppose, as much when you're young, or think you don't realise the impact of your words. So that's why, for me, I like working with young people and trying to explain that to them. Yeah. Whereas with adults, it's harder because you just think you're pretty fully formed now. It takes a lot more to change an adult's mind.
Yeah, but then if they've never faced that challenge before, if nobody has ever said to them, what you've just said is wrong. Yeah. They may have seen it on telly, but they may have not heard it from themselves. Like someone saying, nah, what you just said there is really offensive. That's wrong. You cannot say that. I was going to tell a little anecdote there of something that happened in the summer, but that person might be really offended if I tell the story, so I'm not going to say it.
You can tell me later.
You know the story anyway, so...
There are so many stories going through my head now of people being offensive.
Oh, sorry.
I'm like, which one are we talking about? Could be many.
Oh, we'll have to move on from this now, because it's going to be like that innuendo chat, isn't it? So we were going to talk about, or what I wanted to talk about the other day, because we were going to record on Tuesday night. Yeah. But we had to change our plans at the last minute. And we quite often, we like to follow a schedule. Like, we like to take our listeners' suggestions, but sometimes we override that with our own genius and brilliance.
We just want what we want.
It's all about us and what we want to talk about.
We have to meet our own needs first.
Absolutely.
It's the rule of life.
And I had this real passionate desire to talk about the perception of ageing, and I think it was because I was starting to think about my Christmas shopping and thinking about how the last couple of years, and I know there is a story, bear with me, about how much harder I find Christmas as I get older. And it should be the other way around.
Why?
I don't know, it's just, I find it so overwhelmingly stressful. And
really?
I know, yes, so stressful.
I'm
It's the cost, probably, more than anything. Knowing, and because all my children's birthdays are around about that time, it's like, well, and Freya's is before Christmas, and I think that's what fucking throws me so much as well, is because, well, if Freya gets all the good stuff for her birthday, then that means I've got to hold back on the good stuff at Christmas for the boys, and then the boys have to get the good stuff for their birthday. But Connor's too little to understand that, and Aiden's, I
can feel the spiral.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
It gets totally nuts. And then I can't then plan for Christmas or Santa until Freya's birthday, because her birthday's the 1st of December.
Right, okay, so then...
I really want to get it over and done with by, like, November payday. That would be nice to just have it just cut at that point, so I can then enjoy, because I love Christmas time. I love the festivities. I love getting ready for it. I'm dehydrating fruit in my fucking oven at the moment.
Nice.
To make fruit garlands.
It's making me hungry. It smells like pie. I did say, where's the pie?
What pie?
I don't know. It smells like a pie. That's what I can smell. Is like a pie, like a fruit pie.
There's two things that I'm doing at the moment. I'm drying out limes for my gin this weekend. Right. And I'm also drying out oranges for my Christmas tree. So
so random. You are, honestly. The things that you do just over the years. So what you do? What do you want for your birthday, Claire? A saw. Okay. I've never known that. But that sums it up, really. So...
Oh, well, this morning, you know, I tell you I get up at early doors in the morning. Well, I woke up really early this morning just thinking about chalk paint, because I decided the other day I was going to paint this swivel cuddle chair that I've got.
This is very comfy.
And it's really lovely, and it's a nice fabric, but I don't like the colour of it. It's like that, well, for the listeners, it's like a creamy, it's like a grey, it's not grey. In the daylight, it's not grey. It's like it's like a beigey grey.
Greige.
Yeah, it is greige, but it's not. Nice. It's not great. Okay. I don't love it. I like it. It's okay. It's fine for the room. Like, it doesn't stand out. But it's just a bit of a bitch to keep clean.
Okay.
And
what colour are you chalking? I didn't even know that was a thing either.
What colour am I chalking, or what colour am I talking?
No, you're just confusing my brain.
I want to go and do it teal, like a really poppy teal.
When you say chalk, for people, because I don't know what
paint.
What is a chalk like?
So it's a mineral. It's a mineral-based paint, so it's thick. You apply it like in a watery. You water the fabric, and then you water down the paint, and then you add. So you're basically dyeing it with natural mineral pigments, as opposed to dyeing it with like a Dyelon, which is a chemical-based pigment.
Have you done this before?
No. No, and this is why it's had me up early in the morning, because it's on I was even dreaming about it last night. I was dreaming, this is really weird, right? So I've not worked with Heidi in a really long time, but I was dreaming about working in the nursing home with Heidi, and I was just boring her to death about talking about chalk paint all night, and it was in my dreams. Like, that's how I know I need to do something.
Yes.
When it comes, it filters into my dreams, and it wakes me up thinking about it. So I came downstairs and I went onto the bloody black hole of YouTube. I completely digressed off what the topic of the podcast was going to be. This is not on topic at all, but yeah, I got totally sucked into all these videos on YouTube on how to, like, the best way of applying it, blah blah blah. Anyway, so it's so that is going to be. Don't know if it'll happen before next week, Could do.
Oh,
I just never know.
at the weekend though, haven't you?
Yeah, I know, but that doesn't stop me.
Oh, really?
If I have an idea in my head, I'm like, it needs to happen. I need to give birth to it. So, so yeah. But where the whole kind of perspective of age came from was not only just like as Christmas, like as a child, Christmas is like, you live your life for Christmas. Like your birthday's cool, but Christmas is Christmas.
See, I don't know. It's
what?
It's very weird. I've said this to people before. I have no memories of Christmas as a child. None. There is nothing in my brain. It's very odd. I probably remember Christmas, but it's the same with a lot of my life. Before the age of, say, 10, 11, that I've had very little memory. It's like...
Wow.
I've spoken to my counsellor about this before. I feel like there's a block, but there were reasons. But yeah, so it's really, and it's weird. So my Christmas memories are generally older as a teenager with my mates. Like we used to all go to my mate Cassie's house, or anyway, I digress. Yeah, so it's weird. So I don't really, it's weird. So now Christmas is like since having kids. Christmas was massive, but I think because I don't really remember it, so I'm just doing what I want to do.
You're rewriting the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think part of the struggle that I have is I'm trying to, on the most part, I tend to do things, like if I think, what did my mum and dad do with us when we were kids? Oh, they did it that way. Okay, so I'll do it the totally opposite way then, because that's just who I am. Just a total rebel to my core. I will always go against the grain or the fibres of my life.
Yeah.
And but Christmas is one of those things like, well, what did we do? Because we always had really lovely Christmases. Apart from having to go to church, which I really didn't like. I never enjoyed it, but that was part of our Christmas day. We knew we had to do it. Even down to like how we do the wrapping paper in the morning. Like it's weird because Trev gets annoyed with me. Because he's like, why are you going out with the fucking black bag? Why are you trying to rush everybody? Why are you trying to clear up? We're not going anywhere. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I know, but we need to fucking tidy up. Yeah. Get rid of all the wrapping paper. And I'm like, but why? Why am I doing this? Because that's what my mum did. As soon as the presents were opened, she then came through with all the black bags were there. My dad was there with a fucking VHS recorder.
Aww.
And we'd all do our little interview piece on what we got from Santa and what we got for our Christmas.
That's really cute.
Yeah, it is cute. And no, because it pains me to think about it. I hated being in front of the camera. Hated
that would be so cute.
I absolutely hated it. And I get taunted by my family over it because like they always say, why are you not smiling in pictures? And why, like, I'm always really awkward in front. I was so conscious of having that lens. I fucking hated it. Absolutely
I've always been a bit
hated
of a show off. So
I can see that.
Yeah.
But it led me to think about like what were the kind of things that I worried about in my teens. Like I've thought about more and more recently as I'm 37 now. Like I don't consider that to be old by any means, but I do feel like it gives me a little bit of perspective on the things that I think I wish I'd known.
Right, okay.
Rather than the things that I think I know now.
Right, okay. Yeah.
And I don't know if that's... I don't really know where it's going, to be honest, but it got me thinking about the things that we worry about now. Will we worry about them in 10 years' time? Will it even be a factor in 10 years' time? Like the pressures that I feel that I'm under now, will they be pressures that like I'll be able to laugh at in 10 years' time? Like, oh my God. Remember when you were 37, Claire? And these are the things that you're talking about and getting all stressed out about.
Yeah.
Buying Santa shit.
Buying Santa a present.
Yes, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
But yeah, I think of the things that I was so casual in my 20s about my life. Like I wasn't really planning ahead. And I've always kind of lived my life very much in the moment. And I do think it's nice to disengage from the busyness and the stresses of what life or what society expects you to do with your life. But then sometimes 5 years can go by and I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? Oh my God, I've done nothing. I've just spat children out. Yeah. Like, what else have I done? Because I wasn't, and I remember writing about this in my book, and when I've read it back and read about the statement of like, I wasn't particularly ambitious or something. It was something along that lines, and I thought, I feel like I am now, but I wasn't then. Okay. So will I still be in 10 years' time? Am I stressing myself out? No, I'm not stressing myself out, but is it things that are actively pursuing my thoughts?
Right. Okay.
Will it be a similar sort of experience for me in the future? I don't know.
I don't know. I think if you think back, it's like 10 years ago, that, yeah, we do change. There are still things, I suppose, we hold on to. But how I'm old. So 10 years ago, I can't even think. Got the worst memory of where I would have been turning 31, because I'm 41 nearly. But I wasn't working, so I wasn't working then. I didn't really care about not working. I was bringing up my kids. I was enjoying myself with my friends.
Yeah.
So there wasn't any real, definitely, like you said, like ambition or anything like that. Whereas now my brain is consumed with what am I doing next? How am I doing next? Have I sent this off? Have I done that?
Yeah.
That's. I hope that in 10 years' time I can look back and go, well, look how far I've come from doing all of this stress and worrying now. But then you think 10 years before that, like in my 20s. But it's weird. Do you know what I realised the other day? And this was really weird. It kind of freaks my brain out slightly, that I had Callum. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I'm lying to myself. I honestly have just lied in my brain so hard. You know when it actually hurts my brain? Because I had Callum when I was 23. I didn't. I really didn't.
How old were you?
25.
Oh, so it's only 2 years out.
No, but my point, I was going to say that I left school when I was 17, then I had Callum by the time I was 23, so I only had 6 years in between of not having children.
But you actually had 8.
Which actually is
that's quite a big difference.
Yeah.
2 whole years of fun. Child-free fun.
You know, it was when I was thinking of that and thinking thinking of my teenage brain of being in school to then being mum brain. And thinking at that point that I had Callum that I was a grown-up, or even when I left school I thought I was a grown-up, I was not obviously a grown-up, you're 17, and then having Callum and thinking I was a grown-up compared to now and going, I was not a grown-up when I had kids. I was still, my brain was not there yet, I was still learning, so I was 24, actually, it's only the year after. But yeah, it's interesting to think of, that always gets me, of how mature we think we are at certain points, or how well we think we're doing and things like that, and then you look back and go, actually, like, no, it's just I was so and I know people have kids a lot younger, but I was still so young thinking, right, I'm a responsible adult, I can look after these children and they're gonna,
and that is almost expected of, like, that's the norm for our culture anyway, to have children in your early to mid 20s. If you have children in your 30s, it's becoming more and more common now for professional working women or professional working couples. And you know, it's getting more and more common for women to have their first child in their 40s. But for the majority of people, and for the majority of people that I tended to surround myself with, it was the early to mid 20s. By the time you found somebody that you were settling down with. I mean, when I met Trev, I didn't think I was settling down. I was moving to England, but I wasn't settling down as such. Like, it was Trev that...
not settling down.
No, it was Trev that said to me, oh, do you want to have kids? And I was like, fuck off. Is that what you're doing? You're trying to trap me?
Trap you. Nice. You know, that's weird, because Sam was the one that raised it to me as well.
Yeah, imagine. See, and this is another thing I sometimes think about. Like, if I'd been more ambitious when I was younger, would I have made... I mean, I would have probably made other choices, and it sends you down that thought path of, well, what might I have done? But I don't believe that your life takes that course. I do believe that it takes a certain course, and I trust that the things that happen are meant to happen for me, and that they're the right things to happen for me. And I hate to think in retrospect, oh, I wish I'd done this, or I wish I'd done... Because that is not a healthy way of thinking.
No.
I don't agree with that.
No, but it is. It's weird that, like, the butterfly effect. That froze like my brain slightly sometimes. A lot froze my brain. That of if you'd made one different thing had happened, how different your life could be. Yeah, I find that really fascinating. That you could have just.
But you'll never know.
No,
and that's it. That's what you can never, like, you like to think of the butterfly effect, but you can never actually, like, so what would have actually fucking happened?
You can dream.
Yeah. But I have found myself saying to children, and I wonder if this has come about for me. I think I've had a few kind of personal and spiritual revelations since working with more and more young people. Is the thoughts of the impact that words can have on you, and like, do they have as much impact on young people as what I think or what I give them? Because I think of, and I've said this before about, you know, when somebody says something really insightful to you, and you're like, oh, I'll remember that for the rest of my life. And when you listen or you read people's autobiographies, or you listen to them talking, and like, oh, my mum always used to say this, or my dad said to me on my 16th birthday, and you're like, that's the moment I want to have with my kids every day. I want them to be like, oh, mum used to say this to me, and oh, mum, and it's so big-headed of me. It's so self-indulgent that I want all the credit for the insightful words I give my children. And then I listened to something today, and I think it was that bloody podcast I'm always going on about, 3 Little Words.
3 Little Birds.
And I keep telling people to listen to it, and it's not even renewing with new episodes because it was a lockdown podcast. But anyway, it doesn't negate the brilliance of it. Yeah. But they were talking about I think it's, I forget what it was exactly what they said, but Matthew McConaughey said in his book, be less impressed and more involved. And that's, I love that. It's so powerful, that little phrase. And I've been trying to use that more in thinking about the things that maybe I haven't got to yet. Not that I haven't ever or will never do, but it's the things that are kind of, I feel like are snapping at my heels, and I'm like, be less impressed by all of that and just be more involved in getting to where it is I want to go. But sometimes I'm confused about where it is I even want to be as well.
Okay. Right, okay.
And that's...
Yeah, because that's, you need to, well, not you don't need to, but to kind of, to move forward, I suppose, having that kind of idea of where you want to go or what you want to do. I very much, the last week, I've had that revelation again. Yeah. It's just the fire. This happens quite a lot with me, that I just go, rah, and then I go, chill. And it's suddenly, it's like someone has just gone, literally set my arse on fire and gone, go and do what you're meant to be fucking doing and stop sitting back and just being a dickhead, basically. And so I feel like part is where I love my job, and for everyone that listens, I genuinely love my job. I love my team. I'm constantly shouting that, but part is my heart. Yeah. Educating young people, being an activist, that there's not a feeling professionally, I think, that I've had like I get when I do a workshop with kids, or when I've finished a training, or even when I've put something on Facebook that makes a difference. It's like something in me goes, you're making a difference, you're making a difference. It's just what I want to be doing. So I have finally, again, sent off my forms to register the company, because I keep forgetting that they've been sat on my table for 6 months. And
No. Come on, let's tell people the actual honest truth.
Yeah.
You didn't have a what?
I didn't have an envelope.
An envelope? Claire, do you have an A5 or an A4 envelope? No, Tanya. I'll just leave it then. No, Tanya. Order the envelopes, Tanya.
And I did. I went on Amazon and I ordered the envelopes, and I now have sent off my paperwork. And I had sent it off before, and paperwork is bloody difficult. To register a company is not as simple as they need to stop it. So I have sent it off twice before, and they've sent it back with little notes of stupid things. So I've sent it away. So fingers crossed, they will send it back. It will be registered. I will finally actually have my CIC registered.
What does CIC stand for?
Community Interest Company. So it's basically a social enterprise. It's a company that is for the good of the community. Okay. Which part is. But the aim then is that, because I've been doing more and more like workshops, and people are paying me for them, which is bloody amazing. But I'm very aware of how many people can't pay me for them because of the environment that they're in, because of schools or in the community where they can't afford that. So the next step will be somebody fund me properly so I can actually make this a reality. And it was just, I think it was Ashley Banjo's documentary. I was watching it in the hospital. Charlie was in A&E. And it's so good because...
I haven't seen it, but...
He's just I love, and I think I see myself with people like this, that just things come from your lived experiences. That's where that passion, because you've lived something and you want to make a difference because you've seen it and you can't have that happen again. And that's what he was kind of talking about. And he was talking to Jim Davidson, who's just a twat. So Jim Davidson, after Diversity had done their dance on... Is it moving? Sorry. Yeah, after they'd done their dance on Britain's Got Talent, Jim Davidson made a video basically just being a racist twat that he is. And so Ashley Banjo got him in to have a conversation, and he refused to sort of see Ashley's point at all in why the things that he was saying were racist. He was like, it's not racist. And I was just watching it and thinking that while he was talking and just going, these are the conversations that I should be having. And Ashley was completely respectful and didn't raise his voice. Jim Davidson ended up walking out. But it was just, I want to be doing this every day. I want to be having these conversations every day. I want to be doing workshops. I want to be going around the country and then around the world, educating people on anti-racism. That's where my passion sits. And I think I've been very comfortable in the work that I do with MAB, with the D&I stuff. It's great. I love it. But I feel like now I have to stop the fear, because I think that has definitely been there. That fear
That's natural.
Yeah, of what happens if no one wants to fund me, or if I get funded and then it doesn't work. Like, all these things go through your brain. But I feel like it's time. I feel like, yeah, it's what I need to be doing. There's lots of little things that keep happening that you sort of go, you're sending me a sign that I need to get off my arse now. And yeah, I think I've got to start picking up on that and not ignoring that. So I'm going to. So someone give me 150k. That'll do for a start.
And there's perspective of age, isn't it? Just understanding the nudges, understanding that, and it does take the experience of age to kind of figure out where your passion lies. And I think maybe this has come about because of the questions that I ask young people sometimes, and we ask them how are you getting on in school and what do you think about doing beyond that. They're 14 years old. I mean, fucking hell. And some people really know what they want to do in that age. They know what their vocation is.
Do you know what if
No, I still don't.
No, but at that age, if someone had asked you, but what would your answer have been? Because you would have had an answer. Like, if someone said to you at 14, what do you want to do in your life, Claire?
At 14, I don't
at 14,
know what
so
I was.
Year 9, 10.
For me, that would have been secondary 3.
Okay, so yes.
No, I wouldn't. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I really had no clue. Okay. I've never really known, and this is
really
I've had thoughts and this is why I love asking people what they do with their life, and I'm like, ooh, that's a really interesting thing. And then kind of thinking, would I have done that? Nah, and I take a great deal of comfort in knowing that I wouldn't have done that. Because then I don't feel like I've wasted any part of my life by not having done that. And that was always my reason for not going to uni when I left school, was because I had no passion for a particular thing.
Right.
And I didn't feel that I didn't have enough guidance around me to help me understand what the benefit of going to university for 4 years and gaining a degree in a core subject that would give me future. Like, I didn't have that guidance. I probably didn't look for it, but it wasn't readily available to me that I would remember anyway. And so I've always struggled to know what that deep desire for me, like writing for me is. I've often wondered, is that my passion? Because I don't pick up the pen or the laptop every day and write, but I think about it every day.
Okay.
I read books every day. My house is, and I was thinking about this the other day. I thought, the one thing, if you came into my house that would tell about me, is that I like reading, because there are books literally on every surface.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and writing does feel like a natural thing for me to do. But I think because I tap into the whole spiritual creativity side of myself, I'm like, well, it's fine if I don't want to write every day, because the impulse isn't there. I haven't got the channeling ability today, so it's fine. So that's something that I query sometimes. Am I supposed to be doing that?
But why are you questioning it then? What is the...
I don't as a whole, because I enjoy it. And I love creating something that... And you know what? When I first began writing my first book and, you know, I'd start telling people really cautiously that, I was writing a book. Or then once you become an author and you start telling people, I'm an author.
Yeah. And
so many people want to write a book. Many, and I didn't know that. I didn't know that everybody wanted to write a book.
Okay.
I thought that I was like one of these little freak writers that was like, I've got a secret to share. So many people like, I've thought about writing a book. What's fucking stopping you then? And I found that the people who are kind of close to me, who have said to me, I've always wanted to write a book, are the ones who've stepped back since I have.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they haven't shared any of my stuff. They haven't bought my book, or they haven't told me they've bought my book. Yeah. It's,
wow.
Yeah, but it's a jealousy thing. And I get that. I get that, because if it was something that I really wanted to do and somebody had gone and done it before me, I'd be a bit like...
Yeah, but that...
but they're not...
should celebrate each other's successes, regardless if it's before.
But they're not in my circle.
Right, okay, that's fine. Keep them in the outer
not
circle.
Anymore.
No, well, there you go. They've done one. Good.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think as well with age, like we said, fear, I think comes into a lot of stuff. Fear, and I think as you get older as well, you start thinking, I'm getting older. Do I need to do something before I'm old?
Well, that. And do you also get more scared now you're older about doing things? You think more about, this could go wrong and that could go wrong.
Not overly. I have little bits, but I'm not a spontaneous person in that I just do it. But I'm equally, I don't overthink stuff. Like even when we're talking about this, like doing the podcast or any trainings that I do, I don't have a script because I just have to. I can't. If I think about something, I'll end up overthinking about it. So I just tend to not think and just do it, and then that way it's fine.
Is that because you know that I'll have it planned?
No, because it's with everything. I don't, even with work, I'll go into like a one-to-one. I wouldn't have read the notes because I'll read them then and I just have to do it. Because otherwise I think I do I'll get drawn into it and I don't want to get drawn into something because then I'll think about it and I'll think about it too much and then you can't get it out your brain and then it's like, I'd just rather just do it. Just do it. And it'll either you'll sink or you swim. And I tend to, well, not swim because I can't swim, but I'll fly. I'm going to fucking fly because I can't swim. But yeah, I don't, and I think I've often been like that. Like I don't think about what I'm doing. But I'm not a risk taker in that sense. I just do, like the thought is there. It's planned in my head, but I won't have it written down. And if I take notes in every meeting I go to at work, I take notes. I have never once looked back on my notes. It's just a habit, but it's there. It's in my brain now. So I'll just keep going.
Is it in your brain now because you've written it down?
Partly, probably. I don't know. It's just, I'm not an overthinker, but I stop myself from being an overthinker, I think, because I just refuse to do it. And I think, especially doing this kind of work, I've seen how overthinking can sort of really take over your brain and with other people in my life. And I'm like, it's just, I have not got time for that.
No, it doesn't look appealing, does it?
Yeah, I've got the Serenity Prayer on my leg, which I didn't realise at the time was for Alcoholics Anonymous. And I'm not an alcoholic. I just like the Serenity Prayer. It's really fucking nuts. But it's a very good prayer. And it is. It's just, if you can give, what is it? Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So basically, if you can change it. If you can't, let it go and know which one. And that's generally how I genuinely live my life like that. If I can't change
that
it,
is a nice way to live your life, isn't it?
I've had to, because it's not. What's the point? There's certain things that we have to worry about in life. Like my kids, they are always going to be a worry to me, no matter how old they get. Family, friends, to a certain extent, and not friends being in my life, more how my friends are. That I worry about, and making sure I want to know that my friends are okay, because I want everyone in my circle to be happy and doing well. But otherwise, what the fuck what are we worrying about? Like, I change it. And if I can change it, then I'm going to do something about it. So I'm not going to just sit and worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's part... I think I do have a bit of a teenage brain still. There's something in me, like I'm not, like I'm a student. I'm a student teenager, or a teenage student, because my brain just doesn't think in that way, and that's how teenage brains are kind of formed. They have no consequence, I suppose, and that's kind of how I think.
Do you know what? Just recently I was thinking to myself that I've spent a lot of my life not thinking, like, very much in the moment, and that was what I haven't pieced it together, was putting it in that context. Like, it's a very childlike way of thinking. I do things and I don't think about the consequences, or I'll say yes to something and I'm like, oh my God, that's a really great idea. And then I don't think about the consequences and I'm like, fuck, why did I not see that? And then I got really annoyed with myself because it was really obvious that was probably not a great idea.
So you're more of a risk taker than me, though, I think. You are... No, but I think you're a bit... Like you said, you're a bit of a rebel. That I do stuff because I want to do it, or I don't do it because I don't want to fucking do it. Okay. Whereas you do just go, yeah, come on. Oh. Shit. Shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have said yes to that again. But fuck it. Which isn't a bad way to be. If you think that's why teenagers are generally... They're miserable, but they're also pretty happy because they just don't give a shit, really. They just live their lives, and like I watch my boys sometimes, and life just, like, I'm sure there's some teenage angst in there, but generally they're fucking happy as pigs in shit. Yeah. Because you've got someone doing everything for you, muggins me. You go out with your mates, you get fed 24/7. That you just life's a blast for them kids, in my house at least, anyway. But I think when I think back to being a teenager, I wasn't. Like, there was teenage angst. I've always been pretty good at a mask. So I've always had a front. Something I realised today, literally today, that, and I've known this, but it kind of hit me today, that Sam's been watching Dave Chappelle, the comedian. I never knew how obsessed he was with Dave Chappelle at all. But apparently he's really always liked him. Okay. So he started watching him yesterday. I think he's watched all of his shows, like, the last couple of days, just for fun. And Dave Chappelle in the late 90s was massive. So as I was like a teenager. But I realised today how little I engaged with black culture as a teenager. And I feel that, and even I was talking to Sam about it and saying that most of my friends, although most of my best mates were mixed race, and I did have like my black crew, but it was like pop music, or I really did, and I feel like in a semi-conscious way kind of turned my back on black culture because I feel like I wasn't fully accepted, so I sort of just went against it.
The whiter you got, the more accepted you were.
Yeah, and it was a real realisation today, and that's something that's really changed with my age, as I've got more comfortable in my skin. Yeah, definitely. And I've gone, I am a black woman, and that's okay for me to be a black woman. I'm still quite pissed off I cut my hair. Really quite pissed off. Really? Yeah, because it's not...
From when?
From when I cut it all off.
I think it looks great.
No, now I'm happy. This is me. I am straight hair. The sides, I like the sides gone. But I was looking at pictures of me with the short hair, and it's not my face. And I don't know if it is. I've said it before. I've had to get used to it. But it's not my face.
Do you know what? I get that. Because no matter how many times people say to you, oh, your hair looks really good, or you really suit it like that. If you don't feel like it's you, you don't feel like it's you. No. Like, for the last month, I think I told the listeners, like, I'd on a whim dyed my hair like auburn. Yes. And I loved it.
It was very pretty.
I liked it. But I didn't feel like me. Yeah. And I've been having some kind of mental health struggles recently anyway. And that didn't help. Right. And every time I caught my reflection, I'm like, who the fuck is that? Who is looking at me? Yeah. What is going on with her hair? That's not who should be looking at me. Yeah. So I got the bleach out on Saturday and fucking attacked it.
Back to blonde.
Scalded my scalp.
Yeah, it's amazing how much bleach has probably been through your scalp. But then it's short hair.
Exactly. And I did say this to you. I would not have dared to be so risky and bold with my colour if it was longer. No. Even when it was like bobbed, I probably wouldn't have gone from dark to blonde or blonde to dark, and that's such a bold move. It would have been a painstaking 6 month. Thinking about doing this. Have you looked at my board on Pinterest? Let me send you some pictures. What do you think about this? Oh, I'm not sure if I'm going to do it. I'll maybe wait until the next. Oh, well, I don't know. Yeah. And
Yeah. Whereas when it's short,
yeah,
like,
exactly. When you're short,
no, it's not. I think it really does. Feeling comfortable in your skin, and that comes from kind of top down. That you have, like I have a very fucked up, probably picture or old picture in my head of what I look like. I don't look like that anymore. I think I see myself as my kind of 19, 20-year-old self that was very skinny and just small boobs. Not small boobs, perfectly pert boobs. And now I've got older, I've got wider, my hair's got shorter. But I know I'm fine with my hair, like I said, now, and I love a wig, I love a braid. So that side of things I can change. But yeah, it's that just being comfortable in your skin, I think, is something that... Was it you that was saying the other day about one day, like being comfortable in your skin regardless of like the size and whatever we are?
Yeah, we were. I think it was last week we were talking about the podcast. So sorry to be repeating ourselves, but I think it is relevant. You know, when you talk about the perspective of age or aging, does it make you feel more comfortable in your skin? And some days I look at my body, I'm like, fucking yes, I love that body. I love everything it represents. And then other days I look at it and think, why? Why? Just why? And like moments later, after I've been thinking why to myself, and Connor's poking my tummy, he's like, "Mummy, it's so jiggly," and I'm like, "Yeah, but that was your home for nearly a year. You grew up."
Never looked at my tummy in that perspective.
Really?
That's where I housed my children.
Yeah.
Never. It's because it shouldn't ever look the way it looks, and that's for me personally. Like, I'm not a judge of anyone. Like, people do you, but yeah, I've never once looked at my belly, like, in a positive way of, okay, it's all right because you, like, the kids were in there. No, you fucked me up. I've got stretch marks, I've got saggy bits, and that's with fucking kids.
Yeah, I have thought that as well, but I do try and consciously make that change of thought and like, well, my body is very amazing in the fact that it has produced 3 healthy babies who are now people. You were irritating the fucking shit out of me. Irritating me more at the moment than they ever were when they were in my tummy.
Oh, yeah. They were quiet then.
Yeah.
It's different when they're out here and they're just asking for things in your face.
But yeah, I don't know, some days I think I've got a hold on it, and I think I was saying last week that I think the weather has had an effect on me.
Right, okay.
But I definitely think I've come round to the fact that I am struggling with my mind at the moment. Like, it's a bother for me. It's just not quite on the status quo. Okay. It's just kind of...
What do you do, or what are you doing, or what do you do, or how have you had that feeling before, and have you done something that's helped it, or is this a new...
I don't know. I think I'm feeling the pressure of certain aspects of my age and my lifestyle.
Right, okay.
I'm feeling a little bit of compare and despair when I look around me sometimes.
Okay.
And that's a horrible thing to admit. It's a horrible, like... And I think probably if most people were to think about it, maybe you do look at other people and think, I'd like a little bit of that. But it is bothering me just now.
Right, okay.
And I think the change in weather, I think, is not helping. Yeah, I don't know. There's no real reason for it, to be honest, apart from more self-awareness, being more in tune, and putting up with less shit from other people. And as a result of that, being like, well, putting up with less shit for myself rather than just like push it down. I'm like, rise to the top, girl. Lord. Feel it bubble. And as I'm feeling it bubble, I'm like, I don't like it. I'm feeling all the feels.
Oh, God,
and it's not the nicest feeling.
No, it's not.
And but do you know what makes me feel so much happier is just when Trevor knows, without me having to tell him, he can just tell that I'm not feeling right and he just gives me a cuddle. That makes the whole day fine.
Oh, really?
Totally fixes everything.
That's really cute.
I know. But he doesn't do it enough.
No.
And then I get annoyed with him.
Sake,
and I'm like, well, why don't you know? It's been 13 years. How don't we know? What is wrong with you? What's wrong with us? Is there something wrong with... Oh, then it just spirals and spirals and spirals. Yeah.
Do you not say I need a cuddle, would you?
I do.
Right, okay.
I do. But sometimes, if it's gone that far, I'm like, well, I clearly don't fucking look happy. So what do you think is going to fix it? I'm not asking for it. Just give me a cuddle without me having to ask.
Right, okay.
Because he does this, do you want a cuddle?
Oh.
And I'm like, yes, I do. And it's just like a whole little game that happens, and it just makes everything okay.
Does he know that you feel that way? Like, have you ever said that to him?
I don't know, actually.
See, I'll tell him to listen to this episode. And then he knows. See, I don't want to be... Don't touch me.
No.
Don't touch me. It's very, like, really rare that...
Oh, it's a cuddle like this. Like, it's not a... It's like, you can cuddle me.
Yeah, you cuddle me. No, I'll tell you what, in fact... No, I don't. I generally don't want to be touched at all. Even when I'm sad, like, keep away. But I did... Sam cuddled me the other day, actually, and it was I think I needed it. That we were watching The Help. It's a Channel 4 programme. And
it's an adaptation of the book?
No, not that Help. Oh. I think it might actually just be called Help. No, it is The Help. It was on during lockdown, so it's about a care home. So it's an Alzheimer's care home. Oh. And I know this because I've seen people have told me.
Yeah.
And it's Stephen Graham, who I love, and it's the girl from Killing Eve. And I was like, I've been building myself up and up and up. And I'm going to watch this fucking programme. I've heard absolutely amazing things about it. People are like, it's just a one-off. Meant to be really, really good. It's care home. It's in lockdown. I watched it, I'd say 6 minutes. And when it comes so quickly that you're like, I like, genuinely couldn't breathe, that it came like a fucking wave, and I was just sobbing, and Sam came, and I'm like, you can't. And then once I'd calmed myself down, then he came round and gave me a cuddle, and that was nice, because I'd self-soothed. I needed that moment just to get it in, get it out. I'm done. And then I can have a cuddle, but don't come until I tell you to come. Don't. Yeah, puts me on edge. Okay. Like, don't touch me unless I've told you can touch me.
Oh wow!
But I have control issues on that. But yeah.
Have you finished watching the show?
No, I don't think.
Will you?
I really, really, really want to, because it's meant to be really good. I don't. I've watched stuff with people with Alzheimer's, and there was something in. I don't know what it was in this programme. That just, I think as well, Stephen Graham's young, so he's early onset, and obviously that is on my mind. And there was one of the women, and it was something in her eyes, and it got me. I can remember seeing her eyes and seeing the girl was talking to her, and something just, I can feel it now. It hit, and I don't know that I will be able to watch it, which is, like my friend Lou said, just watch like 5 minutes at a time.
Yeah, but if it's just tormenting, it's... No. Yeah. Do you need to watch something that you know is happening in your real life, and that you can, if you want to see it, you can go and see a certain person?
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. There's a film out of Anthony Hopkins as well, that's meant to be really good, The Father, and it's Alzheimer's again. I'm like,
it's so raw. It's a really difficult... If it hasn't... I mean, my experience of it is really different to yours because it's not personal, but I can see how fucking. But
this is the thing, working in the care home, and I don't know whether it's because my mum wasn't that.
Mum didn't have a diagnosis then, did she?
Yeah, she did.
Just beginning.
Yeah, it would have been at the beginning. So I don't know if because she maybe wasn't as far along then, but yeah, I don't know. But and that again. Like age, because my mum's fucking she's just turned 60, and she's obviously still my mum, but she's not my mum at all anymore. It's a completely different person, but not completely different person. That sounds wrong because she's not. She's still there, but it's not who she should be at that point. It's not who she should be. Yeah. And that does. I know I make jokes about it, but that is on my brain already. Thinking that's only 20 years away. Realistically for me.
Oh God.
And even if I actually look at it and think it's probably been about 3-4 years really, if we look at it properly, because my mum's always been a bit nuts. I think we let it go a bit, but it's starting to feel a little bit like there's a bit of a clock, or there could be a clock, and that does not scare me, because like I said, I won't think about it too much, but it's in my mind that you just got to, I've always said this, you have to live for today.
Yeah,
because
totally.
you genuinely don't know what the fuck's going to come around the corner, and the last thing you want to do is go and not have said the things you want to say, done the things you wanted to do, made the difference in the world that you can make. Like, it's just fucking do it. Yeah. Because you could not wake up tomorrow, or you could wake up and it ain't your fucking brain. Yeah. So, what are you waiting for? Kind of thing. Yeah. Really.
It is quite frightening, isn't it? Yeah. I've been watching this program on Netflix called On Becoming a God in Central Florida or something like that. Okay. And it's Kirsten Dunst. Oh. And it's absolutely brilliant. It's
like a drama.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, it's one season. And the reason I haven't recommended it to anybody is because it's for anybody who's ever worked in network marketing or multi-level marketing. And they're loving their life, or they're trying to build their business. If you are, turn off now, because you don't want to hear what I've got to say next.
Oh, God.
So, many years ago, when Aidan just started primary school, I started a network marketing business because I was fucking desperate. Really, really fucking desperate. And I didn't see the error of my ways.
Right, okay.
And I didn't I was with that company for 3-4 years.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was about that amount of time. I mean, not like massively pushing it and whatever, but I was still, in my head, I still had my business. And to be fair, I still have customers now who buy my products, and I don't disbelieve in the products, but I disbelieve in the whole system and the whole model. And so this program On Becoming a God look it up on Netflix and see if I'm getting the name of it right. It's Kirsten Dunst. Oh my God, she's an executive producer on the show as well, and it makes me wonder what her drive was to tell that, because it's a very particular story that they're telling.
She's really different. Becoming a God in Central Florida.
Yeah, On Becoming a God in Central Florida. That's right. She is absolutely amazing in that role. Her body is amazing. She's amazing. Her accent is amazing. It's a fantastic show. But fucking hell, if you've stepped away from multi-level marketing or network marketing, whichever umbrella you want to classify it as, you can sit there in comfort watching it, be like, my God, oh God, oh fucking stop, just stop. I've done all that. Oh God, I did that. Fuck's sake. It's really, really triggering. Really triggering. And it made me realise how fucking desperate I was to claw back some form of life after Trevor had his accident, because it was only a couple of years after his accident that I started my business. And I mean, I'm not ashamed of the business that I grew, because I learnt a hell of a lot. I learnt more on what not to do than I learnt on what to do. But it opened me up to a lot of things. And I have to say that it's probably the one thing that opened me up to some of the friends that I've got now. But also on what it takes to start a business and be consistent and to think about your mindset. And that was my first, my first ever mindset link on YouTube that somebody sent to me was... we did it for something with work. Les Brown. Les Brown was the guy. He's got this
dude that you said. Right, okay.
Yeah, but an inspiring black person. And Les Brown was the guy that I chose because he's got the most booming voice. And that was that video. That was at the very beginning of my business that somebody shared that video with me. And I just found it so empowering. And take that away from multi-level marketing. I mean, the two do go hand in hand, but it almost tarnishes like working on your mindset and doing like thinking positively and having affirmations and being grateful. Because for me, there's always that undertone of why it came into my life in the first place, that network marketing and the things that that you're kind of encouraged to do, recruiting people and like sparking up conversations with people. It's fucking hell, man, it's just horrible. But the show is the story is so well told.
Right, I'll have to try it. I haven't got anything at the minute.
It's and a friend of ours had asked for a recommendation, and I didn't say it because I know that she has. I know it's not something like she's massively pushing, or massively kind of building and looking at it as her one and only income. And there's a lot of people around me who do have little sideline hustles like that, and that's brilliant. But it's when you look at it on the scale, like the characters that are being told in this particular show are at the far end of the scale. But it's the far end of the scale that you want to be when you're really wanting to build a network marketing business. You want to be there. You want to be the 7-figure check earners. Like that's what you're aiming for. And I wasn't expecting the emotional wave that came with that. Yeah, I know. But I'm on my last episode. I've got like 20 minutes left, so I really want to finish the podcast so I can listen to it.
Rude.
Or watch it rather. Yeah. But it's only Kirsten Dunst. I don't recognise anybody else in it. I'm just trying to visually run through the cast. And it's really... It tells the story so well of what network marketing is and how it encourages you to build your business. And it just love it for the products. Don't love it for the model. Like and that is perspective. The perspective of my ageing has given me, and less desperation.
I was going to say, I think that is a massive thing with anything, with any business or with any kind of job, is that to do the job because you love it, not because you're constantly striving to make the money. I think that's where I've been very fortunate with or even with most of the jobs that I've done, especially since having kids, is that I've not done them I've done them for the money, because obviously I'm not fucking rich and I need the money, but I've gone for jobs that I wanted because I want to do them, that not just because I need to do them, kind of thing. And I think that really does make a difference to life. If you're doing something because you enjoy it, like I have lots of different jobs that I do, and I fucking love all of them. Yeah, there's not one of them that I'm doing that I'm going, oh, do you know what, I don't want to fucking do that, because then I just wouldn't do it. Yeah. So I think that does, and I imagine with something like what you're saying with that kind of those businesses, it's not about the product for a lot of people. For some people it probably is, but for a lot of people it is about getting to that next step and getting to that next step. That next step you hope will come if you're doing something that you love. I know. But you do that through that, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, I'll watch that. It'll be interesting. Yeah, it's good. There's 10 episodes. And it was renewed for another season. And now watching the last episode, I'm like, season 2 would have been amazing, because there's so much that could have come out on it. But it got cancelled because they renewed it at the start, just before the pandemic, and then they decided, do you know what? The story's been told well, and it really has been. It can finish at that point. Yeah, it can. It takes a natural finish, I think. But there will be some cliffhangers, I think, that you just, as a viewer, you just have to resolve yourself. Yeah. But there's one particular event that happens kind of early on in the last episode, and you're like, my God, I did not see that coming. Okay. And that would have made a really good storyline for season 2. But I'll watch it. I'll watch it. I'll watch it. That sounds good. As you were just saying there, I know we don't finish because we're running out of time, but I've just started a new book. But it made me think of you as I started reading it. Hold on. You're starting a new book. Does that mean that you've finished? I have finished. I finally finished. She's a legend. It's a brilliant book with lots of very insightful things. I've taken loads of screenshots and written loads of stuff down because I like... Was it an ebook? It was an ebook, but I've taken a picture on my phone of the ebook. I don't know how to screenshot on my Kindle. Probably can. I must be able to, but I don't know how to do that. But so I've started a new book now, and I cannot remember the name. It's something like Racial Justice Mindfully or something. I don't know. It's not, but it's basically about racial justice, but helping to support yourself through mindfulness and meditation, while also doing the racial justice side. And I was like, this is very clever. I've only got like a couple of chapters in, But she's talking about like how she has to do like her breathing techniques and things
Yeah,
before
yeah.
she goes in to do stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, Claire will be proud of me.
Yeah, I am very proud of you.
Yeah. So I'll let you know how that gets on. But it's really insightful so far. But it is actually, I'm loving, and I never thought I would love a non-fiction book, but I think it's the headspace I'm in. Mm-hmm. I'm liking learning again at the moment on that, not on anything else. It's not. I don't want to do it for
Fuck the degree.
Yeah. Seriously. Don't. I've got to do shit. I did Google my way for a test this morning.
Jesus.
Yeah. 6:30 in the morning, Googling a test. See, but I'm up at 6:30.
Very good. That is massive.
It is. I'm fucking tired.
You're not.
Really
you just
tired.
think you're tired.
No, I am tired. And I'm not doing keto anymore. And I miss cheese. Because I was eating cheese.
So what are you doing now then?
I'm just eating like a normal person.
I've succumbed to my desires.
No, just like not eating shit is the aim at the moment. It's just don't eat shit. Just eat food. Like not calorie counting, but kind of low fat-ish. Just normal. Like a normal person. Okay. But I just want to eat a whole block of cheese because that's what I could do on keto. Okay. Can't really, but I was. Hence probably why I wasn't losing weight. But I miss it. I might go home and have a slice of cheese and pickle.
Well, I made a really nice quiche. Right, so I'd seen this Jamie Oliver mince pie video clip that came up on Facebook. I was seeing you when I went to Sainsbury's to go and buy the stuff to go and get it.
Oh, was that one? Right.
Yeah, and it was like putting phyllo pastry on the cupcakes, and then you make the mince pie in puff pastry. You roll it up like a sausage roll, and then cut it like cinnamon buns, and then you put it into the phyllo pastry nest that you're making.
Right. Okay.
And I thought, ooh, that's right up Trev Street. Don't know why I thought about, because I know what Trev's like when he gets involved in stuff like this. He's like, oh yeah, we could flambe brandy over the top of it and serve it like flaming with melting ice cream all over it. It's like, you and I are the only two people in this house who like mince pies, Trev. Yeah. And it's early November. Let's just calm it down.
Yeah.
So anyway, he'd gone to the shop and he'd bought, in replacement of phyllo pastry, short crust pastry. Will this do instead? No, that's totally opposite. You'll have to take. I'm not going to take it back. Oh. So I was like, what are we going to do with short crust pastry then? Because I don't really. I'll make a quiche. Well, fucking hell, is this quiche not the nicest quiche I've ever, not even made, but eaten? Oh. It's fucking delicious, and it's still in the fridge.
Oh, what was in it?
It survived.
You got meat in it?
Oh, it's quiche Lorraine. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, quiche Lorraine.
It'll be in your fridge when I leave your house. Might be gone.
Oh dear. No. But look, anyway, on that note, we shall love you and leave you. Please share the podcast, follow the podcast, send us your emails, follow us on our social media channels, which I can't remember what they are at the moment. Put them in the show notes.
Yeah. Just hit us up.
We love you.